I also want to talk about clickfix. It's been a while since we talked about like a lot of these different attacks, and this is clickfix is something that people shouldn't fall for either, but they do. And for y'all don't know, like just to sum up, what ClickFix is typically you on a website that's probably been compromised, and they say, "Oh, you got to update your computer. Press the Windows button, press Command C or Control C, and then press Windows R, and you like open up the run thing and they say paste the contents in it, and then now they got your system." But I'm gonna read this article, but I like at a high level. If you want to skip past this part, that's what ClickFix is. ClickFix attack uses fake Windows update screen to push malware. ClickFix attack variants have been observed where threat actors trick users with a realistic-looking Windows update animation and a full-screen browser page and hide the malicious code inside images. ClickFix is a social engineering attack where users are convinced to paste and execute in Windows command prompt code or commands that lead to running malware on a system. The attack has been widely adopted by cybercriminals across all tiers due to its high effectiveness and has continually evolved with increasingly advanced deceptive lures. Since October 1st, researchers have observed clickfix attacks where the pretense for executing dangerous commands was completing the installation of a critical Windows security update, and the more common the human verification lure. The fake update page instructs victims to press specific keys in a certain sequence, which paste and execute commands from the attackers that were automatically copied to the clipboard via JavaScript running on the site. Yeah, so
That's suspicious.
I'm going to put the B-roll up here for that so people can actually see what that looks like. Now, guys, if you're going on a website that's telling you need an update, false. Windows only notifies you of the updates from your actual notification center inside your operating system. They don't tell you via a browser because they're connected to you via the OS. And then you can always go to settings and check the
It'll tell you
updates
if you need
and
to
know if you need it or
restart.
not.
Yep.
That's where official updates come from, not from Google Chrome, which is a total separate company. That's not going to know anything about your Windows computer unless you download something and ran a scan or something on your computer. A report from managed security services provider Huntress noticed that the new ClickFix variant drops the Luma C2 and what is this? And Rhodomanthus information stealers. In one variant, the hackers use a human verification page, while in another, they rely on the fake Windows update screen. In both cases, though, the threat actors use steganography to encode the final malware payload inside an image. And it pretty much just defines what steganography is for y'all.
It's fun.
Yeah, we used to do that back in the day. Rather than simply appending malicious data to a file, the malicious code is encoded directly within the pixel data of a PNG image, relying on specific color channels to reconstruct and decrypt the payload in memory. Delivering the final payload starts with using the MSHTA Windows native binary to execute malicious JavaScript code. Now, that's pretty cool because a lot of times in the SOC, you'll see all these different processes going on, and you'll see detections for MSHTA. And so a lot of times those like kind of standard detections, and you just have to research what's actually happening in the detection to see if you got enough evidence to see if it's malicious or not. The entire process involves multiple stages that use PowerShell code and a .NET assembly, responsible for reconstructing the final payload embedded inside a PNG file in an encrypted state. Inside StegoLotus manifest resources, there is an AES encrypted blob that is actually a steganographic PNG file containing shell code that is reconstructed using custom, I believe that's C#. Yeah, C# code. Huntress researchers noticed that the threat actor used a dynamic evasion tactic, commonly referred to as C trampoline, where the entry point function started calling 10,000 empty functions. Oh, this is a lot. This is the cool security research stuff that people do. They just get paid to research all this stuff and make good write-ups. The shell code holding the info stealer samples is extracted from the encrypted image and is packed using the donut tool that allows executing VB script, JavaScript, exe, DLL files, and .NET assemblies in memory. After unpacking, Huntress researchers were able to retrieve the malware, which in the analyzed attacks was Luma C2 and Rhodomanthus. The diagram below serves as a visual representation of how the entire attack works. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely going to put that stuff right there to just kind of show you what happens with the victim when you click on all this stuff. And it's a really good.
Did I tell you what happened to me when I visited the wrong website?
When?
I was typing too fast. I don't even remember where. I don't remember the site I was trying to access, but it took me to a bad website. And my computer lost it. Like, I was totally convinced that ransomware was trying to take over the system.
It was recently?
Yes. It was maybe like, we talked about it. It was in the last few months. But I started running a scan on my computer, just trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Guess what it was? It was a browser extension that was sending, like, the notifications were coming so excessively that I felt,
So you had a drive-by download?
I was crashing out because I was like, you're too smart for this. Like, what are you, like, you're moving, you need to slow down. I ended up having to go to my notifications and unsubscribe. Like, it was how fast notifications was coming in. If you are not experienced, you would have been crashing out. Like, it was dinging like every 25 seconds.
I wonder how you did that. We should replicate that.
It was awful. It was awful.
You know, what browser you normally use?
I like Edge.
So Malwarebytes has some extensions that'll block crap like that.
It was bad. Like, if I did not know the things that I know, I would have thought it was over with for the whole computer.
The Rhodomanthus that used the Windows Update lure was first spotted by researchers back in October. Let's see. Okay, that's kind of done from that, but it says, Huntress reports that the law enforcement operation resulted in the payload not being delivered anymore on the fake Windows Update domains, which are still active. To stay safe from this type of clickfix attack, the researchers recommend disabling the Windows Run box and monitoring for suspicious process change such as Explorer.exe, spawning MSHTA.exe, or PowerShell. Additionally, when investigating a cybersecurity incident, analysts can check run MRU registry keys to see if the user entered commands in the Windows Run box. So my responders, you got a gem at the end. Check run MRU registry keys to see if the user entered commands in the Windows Run box. But yeah, that was just another attack I want to talk about that people fall victim to because they don't know. It looks legitimate to them, but they just don't understand. And it goes back into, as simple as this is, the small part of being technical is just understanding the difference between, like, hey, your browser and your operating system and where updates come from.
They're not coming from the browser, period. Like you said.
It does trick them, though, because and see, in the real browser, it has the Microsoft logo right here, and it's actually
the little spinning.
Yeah, I don't know if this thing was actually running stuff. It probably was, but this is when it says, like, if you're on any site that's telling you to copy and paste something, like, watch out.
First of all, when you said it was telling you to enter in certain, I think, commands.
Yeah, so you can open up the Windows Run box.
Yeah, stay out of there if you don't know what you're doing.
That's crazy. I would love to do that on. I'm gonna try that on Square X and see what happens, just to have fun.